Hello, I am Nekojira. Pleased to meet you. And thank you for purchasing my class. I'm very happy to see you here. Thank you so much. I need to be honest to you, I'm not really good in English. So I apologize if I didn't explain things too well or I speak very badly in the chapter afterwards. And if that happens, please let me know or just contact Coloso. I will try to do a voiceover and refine them afterwards. A quick introduction about myself. I worked as an illustrator for like 5 to 6 years. I was a student under Kranz Kashat, and most of my knowledge and theory are from him when I was his student. So the things I'm going to share in this class is highly influenced by him. So what I'm going to share in this class is mainly the things that I learned from him, but I personally digested and try to convert it and add in my personal thoughts. So I will share a lot of mistakes I've made during the journey of my art and how I overcome it, what is the solution, and a few theory and tips that I find them very effective and very recommend you to have a try. And I hope that my sharing can provide you with some answers on your learning journey. And a quick introduction to my career is that I mainly focus on illustration. I enjoy drawing characters a lot. And I'm grateful that I work with Yostar for plenty amount of time, mainly for advertising art, like for Arknights or Azulane. And then I got this opportunity to work with Pixel Neko Studio, which is the creator of Revive Witch. And I created a few characters for them, which is really fun. And it begins my character design journey, which I personally love to pursue in my afterwards career. And then I started to evolve into the job of character design for gacha game. Gratefully, I got a chance to work in the studio of Azulane, Manju. And so I created Atsugi and Argus in this period and created a lot of skin for them, which is really a fun experience. And they taught me a lot of things about character design. I really improved a lot by having them guiding me in this period, which I'm so grateful about it. And then a more recent one, and also one of my favorite projects to involve in my whole career, which is Raura from Hololive English Justice. When designing her, I try to apply everything I had learned so far from my previous job, and I'm so glad how she came out. Highly recommend you guys to check her out. She's really fun, very sweet, a very cute Italian big cat. So I currently work as a freelance character artist. I mainly focus on character design job. So this class will be mainly focused on characters, tips about how to draw face, body, hair, costumes, and stuff that is related to character. So I will begin with the orientation to the class. Our class will be divided into 4 sections. The first big chapter is going to be shapes, which we will learn how to observe things and abstracting complicated objects into simple shapes. And then some theory of mind on how to design shapes. Like the few very important features of character, the body, the hair, the face. We will go through some practice for that, and I'll explain how do I actually think, what is happening in my mind when I was creating and designing. And of course, I'll be sharing things need to be aware when during the sketching stages and how do we convert it into line art. And I received plenty of questions regarding to my line art, how to create a clean line art, and I'll be covering those. And I hope they can help you in creating the line art that you really hope to achieve. Speaking of line art though, I think I can share with you some of my old works. Like this is a very early stages drawing of mine. And I have no clue how to create line art at this stage, so my drawing always looks messy. And then if I recall back, I think this is before I attend the class of Kranz. And then I attend Kranz class, and then he taught me how to organize my shapes. How do I actually plan my line art? What is the importance about the line weight? And after learning from him, I created another piece. And you can see the improvement compared to the before one. And then I start to develop from here, and I think this is the stage that I start to go into an unwritten path, which is starting to draw something more lewd. And I remember I became so interested in drawing female body at this stage, and the clothes had become lesser and lesser, as you might already seen them. But thanks to this stage though, I actually improved a lot, especially comes to draw curved line. And then I further developed from there, and I starting to have my own thoughts in line art. And then finally to the most recent one. So yeah, I will share with you what things should we be aware of, what kind of things that we can keep in mind when drawing line arts if you want to achieve line art like this. And then the second section will be more about rendering. shadow shapes and toner value. Shadow shapes is more into how do I design a shadow. For example, like how do we play with the shadow over here? How do I actually design the shapes over here by considering light and shadow? For example, like the dress, the folds, and how do we create a texture like this? What is the key thinking behind my way when creating light and shadow shapes? And I'll be focusing and targeting a lot on this part. So most of my class is actually can be summarized into one word, which is shapes. You will listen to me keep on mentioning this thing over and over again. I'm sorry if that annoyed you, but this is definitely the things that helps me through this 5 to 6 years study journey. And this is the number one priority when it comes to my creating progress. This is the first thing I will always consider when it comes to illustrations. And then we'll go to like toner value. I will share with you hue, saturation, how to select color with color view, and special layer effects for color tone. We will do some study to overcome this. For example, like folds or hair painting studies. And then I will show you how do we actually improve from this stage. Like we start from completely gray color and how do we add color and make the gray interesting, which evolving to play with the saturations and the hue. As well as something like this. How do we actually select the color? We don't rely too much on layer effect. We try to understand how the color wheel works. We do practice by creating pieces like this, by playing around with the color wheel. What does the direction goes and how do we affect the color? How do we select color and what is the relationship between color is the thing we need to go through together. And then we will slowly go step by steps. By letting you understand how the color wheel works will definitely help you a lot when it comes to your future art journey. And finally, we will do a final product together. We will use whatever we learned and then to create one final piece for the shapes for the sketch from the line art to the final product. And yeah, I will share with you everything that happening in my mind when I was creating illustrations. And then finally, we have a Q&A section, which is from the question you guys have submitted when the class was announced. And there are plenty of questions that I find them really interesting and I will answer them, which I might separate the question into 2 sections though. There will be 2 conclusion chapter, which is after the shapes and one is after the final product. So I will answer question according to I find them suitable in the chapter. So if your question is regarding to shapes or line art, they will be included in the conclusion of the shape chapter. Then if your question is regarding to career advice or rendering, then they will be in the final chapter. And yeah, I guess that's all for the orientation. I'm so glad you watched until here. Thank you for purchasing my class. And I wish you happy learning and I'll see you later.